So, welcome everybody. My name is Michael, and today we are in the Specialklasse 90, the S90, the flagship of the Swedes. I wish the Specialklasse, but basically the version of it. So, driving through a drive-through the wrong way, but that's fine. Well, there was no other way to get around, but you did not see that. So, we have the window open, and this is something I've noticed in a lot of vehicles. But one specific that comes to mind is actually, before we get into the modern day Volvos, it's the convertible. Volvo hasn't had a convertible in a while. The C70. Absolutely love that car. Anytime we got a C70, it was a fun ride to look at. It was a fun ride just to drive around the parking lot. But this time, I took this one out, and here's a clip. Just sold my 6th car, and we took a C70 trade-in in. I really like it. I'm not a big fan of convertibles, but this is one convertible I actually would take. It's pretty cool. And you're probably thinking, okay, what's this got to do with anything here? Wind noise. The wind noise in that vehicle with the top down, and yes, of course, this depends on how fast you're going and how windy it is that day and the angle and a whole lot of things, right? And there's different designs, but my Volkswagen Passat, the one I took over after my wife, after I crashed my Volvo S60, I've noticed that the wind noise compared to a newer 2020 Passat was worse, in my opinion, than the 2015 Volvo S60 that I had. And this was an older, I forgot what year this was, but this had to be, I mean, it's double digits. It had to be like, 2012 or something. C70 that had really, really nice wind noise protection. It's like you felt isolated, even though the top was down. And as soon as you rolled down the windows for, it's pretty surprising. You'd get a lot of space that this wind can easily make a bunch of noise and echo, and you just wouldn't have that. Of course, yes, you're going to experience something. It's not like, oh, there's nothing there. But the Volkswagen Passat, it's a lot more abrupt. And the sunroof, when the sunroof is open, even though there is a wind protector, and yes, there's Nissans and Toyotas and Hondas that I've driven that have 10 times worse wind noise than the Volkswagen Passat. So I'm not complaining. But in comparison to even the older Volvos, yes, the convertible is made for aerodynamics because you don't want your face being ripped off when you're driving 100 miles an hour on the Autobahn in the wind legally with your top down, enjoying that beautiful summer day. You want to be still in control. You want your hat to still be on your head. And I've noticed that with the top down in that convertible, I felt better than I did with just 1 or 2 windows down in the Passat, or even just the sunroof open. And I love driving with the sunroof open. Now it's just getting warmer. It's absolutely fantastic. And when you get inside a modern day Volvo, just the fact that you have this giant panoramic and it's open, and it's not just Volvo, it's a lot of luxury vehicles. You have Mercedes and BMW and Porsche, but not all of them, not every model has great aerodynamics, and not every model, I don't know what the term is for, it has to do with aerodynamics, but I don't know what specifically is for this noise protection, noise isolation that, yes, you're going to experience wind, but in some cars, it's going to be a lot more noisier and it's a lot more annoying. And when driving in my wife's car, every single time I say to myself, wow, I love having the windows down in here. I love having that sunroof open. Time it feels just like 2017, in my opinion. Because, first off, it's not throwing all the plastic and whatever else is in the car that can easily get moved by the wind. When I have my sunroof down in the Volkswagen, I have to fasten everything down. I have to hide all the papers because everything goes flying. I had something recently fly from my driver's seat all the way behind the back seat and like behind into the, back area. I was like, what? I'm not even driving that fast. I was driving like 40 miles an hour. And yeah, it was a little windy, but there's some cars where it's just sturdier, I don't know what it is, but it is something that I thought would be worth a mention. Just something I noticed. Today it's not windy at all, but driving, it's just, I don't know. I want that in my next car, and hopefully this is going to be my next car. I really want that because it's such a cool, it makes you feel like you're in a luxury vehicle because you can hear your music at a lower volume. That's huge. Again, your stuff's not being flown all around. Your ear's not getting bombarded by... Of course, if it's super windy and you're driving fast, it'll still happen, but to a lesser extent than with other vehicles. And I love my Passat. It's great, but the sound system in this and that is just... I just wanted to share that. So one of these days I will buy a C70, and I'm sure this is common with a lot of convertibles, but I've also tried other convertibles working at dealerships. There's been a fair amount of convertibles, and one that really stands out in my mind is Mercedes C-Class convertible. Now that one was crazy. Where in the wintertime I couldn't get the roof to close for whatever reason, and I was driving with it, and it was cold, but I still felt like warmly cocooned inside this vehicle. I had to go slow because, you know, you can overdo it, but it was just surreal. You know, there's these moments where you're like, wow, that's luxury. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your night or day, and take care. One of my favorite parts about this car, look at that. Look at that starting sequence. Makes you feel like you're in an Audi. Absolutely love that. Oh yeah.